going to go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. It is February 6, 2019, approximately 7 p.m. I'll go ahead and move on to our first item, approving the agenda. Everybody had a chance to review it?
Yes.
Any amendments, changes, questions?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion to approve the agenda by Dan. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Pat with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to tonight's consent agenda. Everybody had a chance to review tonight's consent agenda?
I have lots of questions on the consent agenda, but, because I really didn't understand the year-end pay equity implemented, that report.
So you don't need to remove that item from the consent agenda.
All
I mean,
right.
we can, I just didn't understand what it was and what it was supposed to get us. I mean,
Sure.
if we have time to
So you can
discuss
remove
it.
that item from the consent agenda.
All right, then I'll go ahead and make,
just make it,
Part of the agenda.
then I'll go ahead and make a motion to remove 3B from the consent agenda and put it right before the initiative foundation. So it'll be the next item after consent. All right, anybody else, any other questions, comments? All right. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll second.
Pat, or Troy with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
excuse me, Mr. Ring, did you get a second to remove the item?
Oh, did I?
No.
Can I get?
Second.
Thank you.
All right. I'm moving too fast tonight. All right, now on to Resolution 2019-03, acceptance of the 2018 year-end pay equity implementation report.
So is this something new that we have to do?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years, okay.
Yep, we have
I'm
to
gonna
do
say I don't
that.
recall seeing this before.
It's a requirement that we do this, and it's a report that gets filled out. It has to be filed by January 31st, so, and it's, the first page is the resolution, the second, I think 4 pages are the pay equity portion of it and the compliance report. It really is, we send in all of our different job titles that go on: clerk, deputy clerk, public works director, and the points that are listed on this job class verification, that's set by the state on point system. That's how you all come up with pay for different jobs, and then we have to send in how many males and how many females, so that and that's where the pay equity comes from. And they ask for the minimum salary, maximum salaries that's allowable with that job at that time. Does that explain that for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know, excuse me, that it was done in 2017, because I pulled the report up, and so that it was recorded, or, recorded, and I don't know, maybe she didn't bring it to you all, I don't know, or it was and you just don't remember it.
It was 2 years ago.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do they eventually tell you
Yes.
where we sit compared to the rest of the state?
End of February, we should get a pass or a fail. And then if we fail, there are many steps that I need to take to send information. And then, because their job will be to get us into compliance. There is no change. I'm the only change, and it is from one woman to another. So, and the pay scale didn't change any. My pay might be different than someone who was here 30 years, but the pay scale didn't change.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be any reason that we wouldn't pass it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, then I make a motion to pass resolution 2019-3.
All right, Pat with the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Troy with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, on to the Initiative Foundation. So, who would like to speak? Don't be shy. We'll be nice, promise.
Mostly.
Well, I can't speak for some, but I'll be nice.
And just for the record, if you can say your name. Thank you.
I'm Jennifer Kaminsky. And I guess we're just here to provide a little bit of information for something that the Citizens for Progress started looking into or trying to get going, was an endowment fund through the Initiative Foundation. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a ton about it. I know right now we're kind of stuck on trying to get a board established to get things going, and then the Initiative Foundation does a nice job of laying it out and giving us a lot of tools and stuff like that, but right now we're just looking for people to be involved in committees and sit on the board, and I don't know if you two have something, or any have something additional there.
Well, we received a matching grant of $10,000, and that needs to be fulfilled by the end of June. So we're really looking for people to sit on this committee and help us with this. The money would go into the initiative fund, and then after 3 years, we can pull so much interest off of that and give it back to the community in like a grant. And every year we try to add more to this pot, and then down the road we get to take more money out of this pot for the community.
Jan, when you say for the community, what's involved, what qualifies for that? Yeah.
When you establish an endowment fund, you have to establish like an area that can use the money or help use the money or whatever. And so through some conversations, what we had been thinking was using the school district as our boundary, and then just calling it an Eden Valley Area Endowment Fund or a community fund at that point. And so anybody that would live within usually groups or projects that would fall within those boundaries could submit a grant to the board, the endowment fund board, and if approved, would receive the money back.
What could the money be used for?
From my understanding, anything we would approve, for the most part, projects to improve something, do planters, create a bench somewhere, put in a dock by the lake.
Gazebos, if we needed something in the park.
I believe it's fairly open, as long as it falls within the boundary of that.
And then also educational wise, they can apply for grant money to put on a program to educate the people on a certain topic.
Okay.
How many people are you looking for to get on the committee yet?
There was initially 7 that we had go or start attending a training. I was one of the 7, and unfortunately, due to the commitment and the time of training, I was unable to attend them all. What's happening right now is that it's kind of a small group that seemingly is involved in quite a few things. So time is short, priorities are different, but potentially 7 and no more than 13. And then after that, you have to create subcommittees. I think we're a little bit out from there, but it may be like grant reviewing and fundraising and there's 4 different committees that we would need a handful of people to sit on. And I mean, there can be overlap, but the board itself would be 7, preferably 7 to 13. I prefer 7, but that's.
And how many do you have on your board right now? 5? 4?
We haven't actually created a board,
Oh, okay.
so, I mean, we actually got 7 people, but we haven't formed the board as of yet. That's some of the problem, that we're getting, time-wise, we're getting to a crunch where we need to create a board. Without the board, you can't go forward, so we got the biggest thing in the endowment fund is fundraising, and it does have a name, the Eden Valley Area Endowment Fund. It's designed to go back into public, like cities, schools, any project that's worthwhile that's going to better your community. That's what it's designed for. There's a lot of endowment funds out there, many endowment funds out there do well, It's designed where you can only spend the interest and never the principal. So as you continue to raise money for this fund, the more money you raise, obviously the more interest you're gonna have on that money. So every year, as your endowment fund grows, obviously your interest dollars are going to grow, and that's the money you spend. So the principal's never touched. Unless the endowment fund dissolves, then I think there's some things on there that can happen where I think some of the principal money goes somewhere, but I don't know the ins and outs of that. The Initiative Foundation is the one's gonna handle that. They'll handle the paperwork, they'll handle the checks getting cut, they'll handle pretty much everything. They walk you through it A to Z. I mean, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already been invented. The biggest thing we need now is we need some people to step up because, as Jen said, the majority of people around this board are also involved in multiple other things. And I just don't think the time commitment, I don't think we have it to do it. You know, it's gonna take some time, you're gonna have to raise money. It's a matching grant of $10,000, and that's gotta be done by June. So if we only raise $3,000, we're only gonna get $3,000 of that money, or whatever it may be. We can get up to 10, but we can also get way less than 10. So the reason we came tonight to give the council some information is to hopefully get the word out and try to get some people interested that want to be part of this endowment fund. Fundraising is a big deal. I mean, I think you gotta meet once a quarter. Your board has to meet at least once a quarter. Some things that have to happen. So we're kind of brought it to the council just to get the council's feel if we go forward with this. It's not the right time for us. Give it a month, we've got some interest, we've got some people out there that are interested, because we are looking for some help. Because we have some people that were involved, they got other commitments. When Steve's here, and Steve's took on other commitments, and business-wise, he just doesn't really have the time either. I think he wants to be involved, but not as a board member. We can have associate members, which is a huge deal too. Up to 13, they don't have to be board members. You only need 7 board members, and you can have 6 associate members. So there's room for everybody to get involved, but we gotta create this board if we're gonna move forward.
Yeah.
And that's why we brought it to the council, to maybe pick the council's brain a little bit on what direction we wanna go, or at least put a plea out to the public. If you're interested, get on with City Hall, get us some information, and try to move forward or not move forward.
So is this board or the group of people, do they all have to be from within the city of Eaton Valley or can be within
No.
your area?
So they can be,
Okay.
even within the school district, like Jen said, it's our area, we use the school district boundaries. We thought that was a broad enough area, well, that includes Watkins and, you know, parts of, you know, I mean, it's a broad area for the school district. So it's open to anybody within this, you know, ISD 463 school district can be part of this board. It don't have to be somebody in the city, it can be anywhere in that area.
And they're also the ones that could help potentially in the future if it would go and take off and become successful, could benefit, potentially apply or put in a grant application for funds.
Is there you know, a particular type of person that you're looking for?
All walks.
Oh, okay.
The diverse, the better, in my opinion.
Okay. And then as far as like anybody that's interested that wants to get more information, who should they contact?
Then contact me.
Contact Jan?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody is interested, as being someone who initially did start being part of the board or in the group, there's a thing called a box with a bunch of information on it, and I actually took a minute to look at it today, and it, like Ernie said, it really does walk you through it step by step. There's agenda templates, there's minute templates, there's budget templates, there's website templates. I mean, there's, you know, this first packet kind of outlines a lot of what it means to sit on the board and stuff like that. I didn't make copies for everyone, but if you wanted it, you're welcome to it.
And then when do you guys have your next meeting scheduled yet?
Last February of the month.
Last Monday, yeah, and February.
Last month.
Is it the 28th? 25th? It'd be February 25th
Yes.
Okay.
at 6:30 in the community center as the next Citizens for Progress meeting.
So if a person is interested, they could just show up to that
They
meeting?
could, oh, definitely.
Okay.
We
Okay.
would accept people to join that group too, so. And I know Jan did contact someone at the Initiative Foundation, and I if I'm not mistaken, we're trying to find a date that maybe would work for them to come talk to me.
Right. Kate Bjorgi is her name, and she said she'd be willing to come down and retrain us too and explain more on that. And she would even be willing to come down for a lunch, that we could sit down, a few of us, and get a feel of it too, and how we should proceed with this, if we should do a co-chair or how to look for potential people to help on this committee.
My understanding is the biggest deal is just getting this board established, and if that can't happen, then I'm assuming it's probably not gonna progress, so.
Okay.
It was initially, I think there were 6 or 8 cities that were chosen for this endowment fund, and we were the final 2, it was us and Malacca, who chosen to get the grant. I think some of the other cities, same issue we had, they didn't know if they could get enough of a commitment, so they kind of dropped out, but I think initially there was 8 cities that were chosen. And we did a lot of work, as the council knows, the Initiative Foundation, you know, I've been working with them for a long time, you know, for the library, and, you know, it used to be Healthy Communities, was a part that came off the Initiative Foundation, which is now Eve Valley Citizens for Progress, but technically the same group, is a different name. So, you know, the Initiative Foundation has partnered with us on a lot of stuff and put a lot of money into the city. You know, that's why they try to keep us on board. They're really encouraging us to try to make this thing work. So, but we need some help. I mean, the people that do the work, they're on 100 other things. You know, we have other commitments. And I think we're all okay with being involved. It's just we got a lot of other things going on too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got Valley Days and we got fire and rescue and just multiple different items going on. And we can't all be on the same things for everything. So we're looking for a little help.
All right. All right, well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming in.
Well, thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Resolution 2019-4, amend 2019 fee schedule, the community center rental. We've always kind of go back and review whenever improvements are made to the community center on if there is an opportunity to raise the fee for rental on that. Since we've had some additional improvements in there, I know the stove went in, I think the dishwasher's going in, Dan, yet? Or?
Okay, dishwasher's there.
Okay.
It's not hooked up yet.
Okay.
The stove is there and it's hooked up. I think we were holding off on raising that fee until that happened. So it's more of a functional kitchen and stuff. And like I said, the stove is in place right now, so dishes can be washed by hand. You know, but the dishwasher, Jim, you got somebody lined up to hook it up, or what's the
Not
plan?
at this time, he's too busy.
Okay,
It's on his to-do list.
okay. So it's something that will be put in. It's in there, in the kitchen, dishwasher is, but it's not hooked up yet. So
Okay.
the reason, I think, the raising that rent is something we talked about for quite a while as we improve the building, so.
So the recommendation is to go up to $100 for the fee. So first question for discussion would be, is that since the dishwasher is not hooked up, do we wait until it's hooked up to do this, or like you said, you know, it's got functional sinks there, people can.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for all the improvements we've done there already and a lot of compliments on how the building is set up and working and things, I think it's time.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, and then the other item for discussion would be of anybody that, well, Cindy, you know how many
We have 14 that have
already
fees that
pre-booked?
are- Yeah,
Okay.
pre-booked, and obviously we would honor those, and then whatever date you set from tomorrow on, it would be 100, and those who, some people have their event for the day of Christmas and they book for the next year because they're coming back, so, you
Yeah.
know, it's just a standing, but
Yep. Would we be okay with that? Anybody that's already got pre-existing bookings, we'd leave at the existing rate from when the resolution is passed and signed. It goes up to 100 after that for any new bookings.
I'm okay with that.
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And with that though, do we need to do anything with the damage deposit or anything?
How much is the damage deposit right now?
Do we have one right now?
No.
No?
We probably should
Do
have
we,
one.
do we need one?
That's some question.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know, it's not a bad idea.
No?
it doesn't have to be damaged, it's just dirty, things not cleaned up and stuff.
Yeah, there's been
Some-
reports of that, that some parties,
Here in the Manna Township Hall, it was $75 to rent it and $75 if you didn't take the trash out, if you didn't clean it up, man, you get your $75 back.
I think it's something we should put in there.
Yeah.
Well, I think so, because I think, you know, just a lot of these events, you go in there, there's a lot of tables that aren't clean, chairs, I mean, that's time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's something we need to do.
Okay.
And I like
Alright.
the idea of having it the same as the monthly rent, so if they wanna rent it out, they pay $200, if everything's lined up, they get $100 back.
Okay. All right. Let's see, does that mean we gotta hold off, or can we just do an in motion edit to that resolution?
Correct. You can do.
Okay, all right. And who would like to set up that motion?
I'll make a motion to raise the rent on the Civic Center to $100 a party, and then another $100 as a damage deposit. And refundable if everything is cleaned up and ready to go.
I think you mean the community center, correct?
Community center, excuse me.
Okay, all right. I have Dan with the motion,
I'll second.
Troy with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, on to boards and commission reports. First up is Darren Hondel, zoning administrator.
Evening. So not much this month. We didn't have any zoning applications, so there was no meeting and there wasn't much happening on rental. So I do have a couple of notes here. 167 Meeker Avenue. That's the one right across from Ugly's there, pretty far from Ugly's, kind of, on 55.
The car lot? Oh, no, the chip house, okay.
It used to be a business and then it got converted into a rental property. Now it's up for sale as a residential home. I believe I heard that there was an issue in the past about it being converted back into a residential, since it was converted to a business. Is that something you want to,
I think
So-
it's
So it can't
zoned.
flip back and forth.
yeah, was that, am I remembering correctly? This was before I got it.
There's been some talk about it.
Yeah, we talked about it, and I think if I remember right, we landed on that we were gonna just, because all parties missed it, that we were gonna let it go to residential, and then just kind of reset it. If it goes back, or goes back to a commercial, then that's when the timer starts, if I am recalling that correctly. I'm getting some head nods here, so,
Something like that.
yeah.
I
It was-
wasn't
yeah.
sure if that changed when there's new owners, if the new owners had to go back to commercial, if they can still stay residential, so.
No, like I said, it was something that was missed on both sides on that one, and, yeah, it's just, from the advice of Adam, our attorney, it said, yeah, just reset it back to, what it was, as residential, and if it ever flips to commercial again, then that's when it stays commercial.
Okay. And then, 392 Colesart Avenue, he was service paperwork on 1/5 this last month here. He did complete all the main issues that were listed on the letter that we gave him. He's still got work to be done, but it's safe, it's secure, but he still has not applied for a new permit yet. That was written in that letter that I gave him, that he has to apply for a new permit, and he still has not done that.
Did we give them a certain time limit for the permit part?
I think it was until January 15th I gave him to apply for a new permit. If I remember correctly.
When did he actually get served?
1/5.
Okay.
So you had 10 days.
Yeah. to apply for a new permit, and then I gave them extra days to get the work done.
So you got the work done, but he didn't do the permit.
Correct.
All right.
So at least it's safe around the house now, right?
It is safer on the house, yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, he came in and took an application.
He did.
He did, and left here, and told me he would be back the next morning, and I haven't seen him since.
He
And-
also, sorry, excuse me.
No, Darla would have sent it to you had he come in when I wasn't here.
He also came in and told Darla he was gonna call me, came in and get my number and call me, and he has not contacted me yet.
All right.
But he got an application. Whew. I feel better.
All right. Well, what do we?
I don't even know what to do.
Here,
I'm.
I got the letter here. So he got served after all my dates, looks like. Do you have a copy of that with you, Ernie, by chance? The letter that?
No, I give mine to Cindy.
And I didn't bring it. Do you want me to go get it?
So yeah, since he was out of town, and we had a hard time finding him, he got served after he was supposed to apply for a new permit. So he got served on the 5th, my letter said he needed to apply for a permit on the 4th. And the work completed by January 24th.
Have you been able to contact and talk to him at all? You know.
I have not,
Okay.
I haven't really tried though either, besides serving him. I wanted to get that done first. And
Well, if he didn't get served until after your deadline in the letter, it kind of that's on us. Unfortunately.
No.
No.
He's still gotta apply, to get his permit in.
He was supposed to apply 3 months ago for that permit, when his
Right.
other
Yeah.
permit expired.
True.
And being he came in and he requested a copy of the letter, he stated that it was served and he didn't open it, and his grandchild or child, just refer to it as his babies, colored on it, and he thinks they threw it away. So he never actually, this is what he told us, that he never actually read the letter. So we made a copy, gave it to him, gave it with the application. And when I talked to him, I said, you absolutely have to get the application in, because we have to get this done. And obviously, you know you need to bring it in, and, yeah.
How many days ago was that, or?
Oh,
a couple weeks ago.
it was
Couple weeks
not-
ago, or-
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was maybe a week after he was served.
I can call him
Yeah.
if we have record of his phone number.
And when did he come in to get your phone number? Do you
It
know?
would have
That was
been,
about the same time.
Right around the same time?
same day, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You got his phone number?
I do not. Do you have it? Or after the meeting?
I don't have it with me
Okay.
in my office.
All right.
And then what are we gonna do?
That's my next
We're just
question.
gonna keep playing this game or what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't get a permit, what's the penalty?
This is just a game to him. I mean, look, we're running circles. We wasted 10 minutes again. You know, we got more valuable stuff. We gotta make sure this doesn't happen again. Because now what? I mean, really? So we're gonna go talk to Adam again? Cost $300 for what?
And Adam.
So we can send him another coloring picture at the dinner table?
And honestly, Adam's probably gonna say, well, it's safe for everybody, so we shouldn't really
Right.
push it, because it's not worth the money to get up, that we get out of it.
We just need to make sure this doesn't happen again, plain and simple. And make sure it's known that this is just a game to him.
Well, and I think we did that by amending some of the,
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, my kid colored on it,
No.
I could use that all day too.
First,
This is just enough of this, so.
I agree.
So was there a fine set up if they don't pay the permit? I don't remember.
No.
If they build without a permit, or,
Well, what happens since?
Yeah, we have a fine if they build without a permit.
yeah,
We don't have anything if they don't finish their project within the allotted time period,
But in
but
fact,
then they're
supposed to
building
do-
without a permit again.
but then they're building it out.
Yeah, so in reality, he's building without a permit, so that would be the fine. Plus filling out the permit.
You would pay the reinspection fee for that, for the relocation.
I think that's the rental.
Yeah, that's a rental.
Sorry. Hmm.
Well, since he is technically, well, he was building without a permit, does that mean that we go ahead and fine him?
Should.
I would think so.
Okay,
I don't know what it is, but I think we should fine him for building without a permit, and then also make him get his permit filled out and paid for.
And when he doesn't,
well, to your point though, Troy, I mean, we just need to make sure that we don't let it happen
no,
again.
not again, no. I mean, yeah, you can fine them and whatever, but we just, on this side, needs to make sure this doesn't happen
Yeah.
again.
And then I think, I think when the amendments that we have done to zoning has addressed those issues going forward, so.
Some of them.
Some of them, we still probably got, well,
We
we can
still,
always,
we still, other than having a fine, we haven't addressed how we're going to handle when they don't get a permit or renew their permit. You know, it's not like the house was sitting there, so it's not like we could say, oh, pull the house out, because it's not realistic. But somehow or another, we're gonna have to put some teeth behind that.
yeah.
What's the most we can do, 300?
That's an early question.
Administrative, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
administrative is,
Sure. Sounds good.
but I think that's the max.
But you got-
300 a
is-
month or something like that, but,
Well, put something on it where
Yeah.
it bites. I mean, make it, even like a guy like that, I mean, yeah, it's gonna hurt eventually, so. But this just can't happen.
So it sounds like we have another takeaway meeting on this, look at just that. So, let's see, let me write that down. Workshop for zoning fines, how about we'll call it zoning fines? And we'll figure out a date for that, and we'll move forward with that. Sound okay? I think, unfortunately, I think we're stuck here because he's,
Did he
even
call you
though
Mona?
he's out of compliance and he's doing things without a permit, we don't have anything to,
Don't have much of a ground to stand on, is what you're trying to say.
basically. All right. In the interest of time. All right, let's see. Anything else there, Darren, on,
No, those are the two issues besides reviewing the applicants.
okay. All right, and we got two of them here.
Yep, so the notes are there. I recommend we hire, or not hire, but offer the seat to Kevin. And then see if we can still advertise and get some more applications in. Not work with the other guy.
All right.
What's in there?
Yeah, I helped Darren with the interviews on that, and, yeah, I agree with Darren on that, appointing Kevin Noner to the board. sat down and we actually had a really good conversation with him. He's very interested in contributing in that capacity. So, any other questions? All right.
Do you need a motion?
We do. We have Resolution 2019-5, appointment of City Planning Commission member. This is for a term that expires on December 31st, 2023. Give this to Kevin Noner of Eden Valley. So yeah, I'll entertain a motion.
I second that motion.
Well, I didn't
You
actually.
make the
Oh,
motion.
gotta make the motion. I want to get this done. No,
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
You made the motion? All
Sure.
right. Jan with the
I'll
motion?
make the motion.
All right.
Second.
Pat with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, well, thank you, Darren. On to Parks. Mr. Hanson.
Hello everyone, I'm Randy Hanson, I'm with the Eden Valley Park Board. And I'm here to discuss bids that we got on for the building, the Fredericks Park building. So we got bid from the lumberyard, Eden Valley Lumberyard, and Steve Keekly. So it's for materials and labor. And we're asking that the council approve $87,213 for materials and labor. That's for the Fredericks Park building. It does not include concrete, electrical, plumbing, and those items. So we're still getting bids on those items, and within the next month, we should have that to present to the council.
All right, and who's won the actual bid?
It'd be Eden Valley Lumber.
Okay.
So they're gonna, they'll supply the labor, material, and Steve Keekly will be doing the labor, but it's Eden Valley Lumber.
Okay, all right. And then, due to the time sensitivity of this project of needing to have it done by the end of June, Dan's okay with committing to having it done before then?
Yep.
Okay.
They'll be able to, drill holes for poles and everything. I mean, they can drill through, some solid stuff to get things going.
Okay. So they could actually start earlier than spring?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
When we met with Lumberyard and Steve Keekly, he mentioned that he would wait closer to spring when it starts thawing out, but we get on it right away. And they know the time frame,
Okay.
so they feel okay with it, so.
Yep. So we'll keep this project moving and get her done in time.
All right.
The plan is to have the concrete bids and electrical and plumbing by the next council meeting. So we brought, Randy will bring them to the council meeting.
So our next meeting is March 6th at 6 p.m. So if anyone's interested in joining us at that meeting, you're welcome to be there to ask any questions you might have.
All right, perfect.
We need a motion.
All right, yep. I was just gonna,
Sorry.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the bid to build the shelf for the picnic shelter out at Fredericks Park, awarded to the Eden Valley Lumber, for the total of $87,213. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So I got the motion. Any, second?
Sorry.
Troy with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy. All right, on to public forum. Anybody? Nope. All right, then move on to our favorite time of the meeting, paying of the bills. Didn't recall seeing one for Thielen Machine in there, so, okay. Then I will go ahead and make a motion to pay tonight's bills.
I'll say it.
Troy with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then on to Cindy.
I really don't have much of a report. Reminder that the audit is February 19th that week, just in case. They always want to speak with a council member, so you may be calling. They'll adjust the schedule so that if you're not available during the day.
Thanks, Randy.
come in the evening. City Hall's closed that Monday, it's President's Day.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Other than that, everything's going well?
it is, it's going well. It's always busy right before the audit. I told Jim, like 57 documents to prepare for them, so,
All right.
yeah.
Can we request how we get the report? Because we always get them in 3, 4 different binders. I'd much rather not get any paper. If I could just get the electronic copy, that's
Absolutely.
good enough for me.
Okay.
Otherwise, it just turns into more stuff. I get
Like, we make them
eventually
out and do it on the,
You know, with how much we pay them, they could throw it on a USB stick for us.
They send us an electronic copy.
Okay.
So we have electronic, because we put that out on the, well, we will be putting it out on the website. I don't know if it was put there. We have to publish it, so.
Yeah.
So, yes, I can send it to you and I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
I'd prefer not get paper copy. It's
To
just-
reduce the number of copies, having been doing some records retention, I think there were 27 of 1 year copies of an audit. I mean, literally 27 of those with the little rings, so they bring a lot.
All right, well, anybody have anything for Cindy? All right, move on to Ernie.
I gave you January's monthly report. I apologize, I've been sick from the dog the last few days, but I'm actually having the upswing today, believe it or not. Just a reminder to residents, no parking on the streets from April 1st to November 1st. And also a reminder of snow removal. We have ticketed a few vehicles on snow removal now. So just a reminder to the citizens, you know, when it snows, you gotta get your vehicles off. Get out there and a plow goes wrong, and we will ticket you and possibly tow them, so. Just a reminder. The only other thing I got is, don't forget March 9th, Steel Toe Comedy Show's coming to town. Tickets available at City Hall. I got a few left, and then, up on Steel Toe Morning Show's website, you can get them on there also, so.
How much is it per ticket?
$10 a ticket, and it's a fundraiser for the Frederick Park project, so all that money goes to Frederick Park through Eden Valley Citizens for Progress.
It's March 9th at
March
6?
9th at 8:30 at the community center here in Eden Valley.
AM?
It'll be-
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that.
There's gonna be food served, right?
PM.
Food served, snacks or hors
Yes,
d'oeuvres, whatever.
We will have a wing bar and adult beverages. So it'll be a fun night. If you've never seen Adrian Washington, they're really good. They're worth the $10 admission, I promise. So. And it is a fundraiser, so. Other than that, unless you got something for me, that's all I got.
All right, anybody got anything for Ernie? All right, thank you, Ernie. Jim?
Cindy and myself have been talking to the DNR, the fire people up north on this generator that we're replacing. We are getting a larger size one than what anticipated. We're getting 100K kilowatts instead of 60K. That's what they have on hand at this time, really new. And it'll cost us a total of $1,500. Before we were talking a little less than that, but for $1,500, and it will be ours to keep. This one here we have to take back once we tear it down. And I'm just holding off. Last week we had a run generator at the water plant because we're on a system with XL Energy that when power demand that we have to turn on generator. Usually it's in the summer. This is the first time ever in winter. So for here, just in case power goes out, we'll still leave this one hooked up at this time. Other than that, get through this next round.
I have, I've had people come up to me and question about the water temp. When should they start? Are they worrying about that?
Anybody who thinks their water's too cold is, you can tell it. Ernie's usually a good person who tells me, boy, the water's really cold. And we've been taking our own temperatures. Anybody can feel free to take temperature of their water. But do not run the water without calling the city, because we are not authorizing anybody to run water yet. not at that critical point yet.
At what temperature should they be calling you and asking?
If it's below mid-30s, high 30s.
At least let you know that the water's getting low.
We just did meter readings last week, and I'm waiting for that report to come back. Darla's supposed to print it out for me, because we do read the temperature of the water. Each household does.
Oh.
And the ambient
Mhm.
of the room. So that's, I'm waiting for that yet.
You can spot check that whenever you want, or
Yes, we can.
That's the beauty of those new meters.
Yep.
There are thermometers that people can get to measure
You
their
can take
own
any thermometer you
and
want.
measure your own water at home.
Yeah, I was just more curious as to
Yeah.
what the temperature, before, you know, a person needs to start getting worried.
I know the neighboring city, their water got to 40, and they chose to have some people run their water. They also experienced main line freeze up a few years ago, as well as another neighboring city, and you get more nervous when you had mains freeze, and, but, you know.
We've got a portion of town just where we know it's more critical than others. The line is not as deep, et cetera. For instance, you get down in Sunny Meadows, the line is plenty deep there and it's in water, so it's not gonna freeze there. And highly, highly unlikely that it will. I guess never say never, but anybody who's interested, take their own temperature and feel free to contact us. And I'm waiting for that report yet, after last week's meter reads. And we can see where we're at.
I think mine was still in the mid-40s.
We did our own here, and Mark actually went out and did it in 41, 42. The water coming into the water plant is 45 degrees from the ground. So you can't really expect much more.
Right.
And if a resident was concerned and they run the water at home, they say like a pencil lead, not,
Not a pencil.
you don't need to turn the thing on and have it gushing.
Yeah,
I mean,
the main thing though is that before they do that though, they need to contact City Hall and get approval on that, because otherwise they're responsible for any
We're
water.
not putting that warning out there
Yeah.
at this
We're,
time.
correct, we're
Yeah.
not, but at home they can choose to do
Yeah.
that, but
They just have
It's
to
on
understand
there,
that
absolutely.
it's,
Pay
yeah.
accordingly.
that's right, they'll pay for their usage,
You're getting some nice snow cover now.
It's
Yeah.
a little late, but
yeah.
it's something.
It helps.
Frost will go down now as spring comes before it goes.
And that's the other thing
It's
people
usually
can't
March is
forget
when we
about.
start having the big,
No.
if it's gonna happen.
What was wrong with that generator, Jim? The old one?
We're looking at a diode, it's the old breaker system.
Yep.
They don't have any up there, that's all I wanted.
No, I was just floating something by.
It
'cause
works.
I know we had talked about before, maybe putting some money away for, like on the lift stations or emergency type setup.
Right,
Would that be an option with that one?
no.
Or you
because
have to take
is
that
for
one back?
fire. That is-
Oh, that's a
that's
fine,
main-
okay, I got you.
and that one
I
has to
understand.
go back.
Correct.
Sure, okay.
Alright.
That was my question, if you can.
I understand where you're going with it. It runs great, it's just, right now it's kinda iffy unless they can find
Sure.
that old stuff and they threw everything away up there.
Yeah. No, I'd go with what you're doing
Oh,
now,
exactly.
by far, without a doubt.
All right, anything else, Jim?
Not unless you got something for me.
All right, anybody?
Is skid loader coming pretty soon, or you heard any much, or?
No, I haven't heard anything. Well, we're already old out
You
first.
still got one to use,
Yeah,
anyhow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Works good yet.
yeah.
All right, anything else for Jim? Nope. All right, and anybody else on council?
Yeah, so, as everybody knows, that the fire department had their physicals, and they got our results back. We looked at them on Monday. Everybody looked at them and turned them back into Chad. Wasn't much of a physical, in my opinion. You basically went in there, he tested your blood pressure, he put the diodes on you for the EKG, you blew in the tube, Pete on a stick and you were done. You were done within 15 minutes. Now, granted, it's not a bad thing to have for the pulmonary function test to make sure that you can actually breathe. But I also think that if the city was looking at that in lieu of a doctor physical, I wouldn't do that. Because I think if you want to do it in conjunction with, I'm okay with that, but if you're trying to do away with having doctor physicals, then I don't think I would do that.
I think for the longest time, we were just doing a DOT physical,
Mm-hmm.
and that's way less than what you're talking about.
Yeah.
DOT physical is.
So I think if
Yeah.
we're serious about looking at the health of the fire and rescue members, you probably want to get away from the DOT physical and just have them do a physical, whether it's once a year or every 2 years or whatever it is. But I don't think that Dan said.
You'd almost have to cap that, because I've seen some $700.
Well, right, I mean, yeah, if they go out and get every blood test there is imaginable, yeah.
Well,
We would have to set it up.
Just a
it'd
regular
have to
doc,
be set.
just a regular doctor physical, they don't do pulmonary.
Right, and that's why I
Just-
said, if
yeah.
we want to do this in conjunction with
Right,
that.
yeah.
I thought we talked about different protocols, what we were expecting before, did we not?
Yeah.
When we were talking about, we wanted to get these physicals and then what else we wanted. And I thought it was more entailed than what you were just talking about.
Yeah, it was more than a DOT physical. Yep. It was less than a full-out physical, somewhere.
That doesn't seem like that's much of a physical what they did. I wouldn't
No.
consider that a
So
physical.
where do you draw the line?
No, yeah, I get
Each
that.
person should have
Sure.
their own physical.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
Personal feeling?
I thought we talked about the
Right.
parameters of what was supposed to be done, and that to me was just a small part of what I thought was supposed to entail.
If you did this every 2 years, I think is something we were talking about,
Yeah.
that may have relief meeting. I mean, you're gonna have a benchmark for blood pressure, EKG,
Pulmonary.
test. So you're gonna have a benchmark on some of that stuff. Anything more extensive than that would be up to the member themselves. At least it keeps the city, on a benchmark. Everybody got tested the same, and anything more than that.
I think the city would have to say that if you do that every 2 years, like you're saying, but then we'd have to say that you have to get a physical every year. If we just say, turn in a physical every year if you get one, it won't get done,
Mhm.
a big physical.
And I think that
Right.
was the main point and
Yeah.
why we went this route to begin with. Did we ever figure out if there was like a state recommended fireman's
I
exam?
thought you looked into that.
Yeah, well, this is the OSHA-based one, that's what they recommended. I mean, there is another step up, I do believe. I'd have to look over my notes again.
Was there like something like for scuba?
SCBA,
Yeah,
that's our pulmonary,
SCBA.
that's our pulmonary function test.
Oh, that's the pul, okay.
The other, excuse me, the other recommend is for full-time firefighters, they do have, and, but those are full-time firefighters.
Yeah.
Those are generally probably larger communities, and it's part of their, as a full-time employee, they have to do this
Right.
to be on the department.
But right now, we're in OSHA compliance.
Correct.
This is what they needed for the records.
We had Med Compass years ago,
You're,
many
you're,
years ago.
you're checking the box and creating a benchmark.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
affordable price. That's right.
And we're a lot farther along than we were a couple months ago.
And generally across the board.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
just
whole
a,
department.
it's just a general, here you go,
No,
we're
it's
good,
not.
this is where you're at, 2
But
years, we'll see where you're at.
I've had stress tests and stepped off the treadmill and they said, you're good, you can have a heart attack tomorrow. So
It,
it's only as good as the paper it's printed on.
in your discussion, was it that, was the feeling that there should be a requirement to have like a full-on, we could come up with a list of physicals every 5 years or beyond the OSHA compliance?
See, I think we talked about that, and the general consensus was, you won't have a fire department, because nobody would pass it. Or,
Oh,
you know.
you have a lot of fit
Sure.
firefighters.
No, but I mean, that was kind of the,
Yeah.
I think. it's
Depending
kind
what
of
your parameters are. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
say, you know, if you have high blood pressure, you can't be on. Well, okay, I know that we have a few younger members that are on high blood pressure medication already. And they've said, well, I might as well just hang it up now.
Yeah.
But that isn't necessarily the
Yeah,
case.
we don't wanna set the bar too high,
high.
but we, you know, like what Steve was just saying, we got, you know, a baseline,
You don't want to set the plane.
you
So
know.
having this, where now I believe it was like all but 2 or something, we completed it, could be something that's done every 2 years that keeps the city OSHA compliant and,
One of them sitting right here that didn't do it.
I did do it.
well, I understand there's a reason why.
One thing with the physical that you guys did take, it gives the officers or the fire chief, he knows if they can't pass a pulmonary, you better not wear an air pack.
Mhm.
And different things like that. You can still be a fireman, but there's things they can't do. But then the officers know that, what they can and can't do.
And the way it sounded to me, we only had one that didn't pass. So that person can't wear an airbag. Until he passes. If in 2 years they do it again, and then if they pass it then.
Well, that's good to hear.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
that's, you know, actually, that's worth it right there, you know.
I think 2 years is, it should be done every year, I think, because health changes, you know, but it's up to us to decide how often.
I thought part of that had to be done every year. That,
Don't know what the guideline is.
Yeah, I think the guideline actually is, what was it, every 2 years before, right?
I think it
I
is
don't
every
know.
2.
Every 2. I know we've talked about that before, that the actual rule was every 2 years. But we're, you know, we can,
I think for a while, we had it set up that every 3 years, we had a rotation, that a third of the department had to go in for a full physical and give it back to the city every 3 years. That way you're not taking 26 firemen, sitting for a full physical every year and going through that cost, and so we split it up every 3 years.
But what do you consider full physical?
That was to a doctor, that they had to turn in a full physical from a doctor, like a yearly exam.
But I know there's different levels
Oh, yeah.
of full physical. So I mean, I think if we're going to say, you know, we have to have a full physical, we better limit what a full physical means.
Even some
Or give a dollar amount of what the city is willing to reimburse.
I thought we had that.
A dollar amount that the city's gonna reimburse?
Wasn't it like up to 65 or something?
That's what these cost.
These did. This physical was about
Yeah.
65.
We-
Per
we-
person, you're not gonna get a full.
no.
No,
there-
it was something like the city, you
Oh,
were
yeah.
gonna turn it into yours, right?
You would turn it into insurance, and then
Right.
whatever the insurance didn't cover, the city would cover. But to your point, you know, if I went in for a $700 physical and my insurance is only gonna cover $100 of it, then I'm turning a bill to the city for $600. You know, so.
Well, mine was 800, cause I have to pay everything out of pocket. Cause I have HSA with a high deductible.
No, but I do like what we've done, you know, that, you know, everybody in the fire department, SANS too, have gone through this physical, you know, we can, you know, down the road, we can pick it up again and go, well, do we make them do it every year, or do we keep it on the 2 years? Do we sit down with this company and say, hey, you know, what you did is nice, but can you, you know, next time around, can you, how much would it be to add this test to it? You know, and, you know, if there isn't really a volunteer firefighter physical standard or recommendation from the state, you know, maybe that's where we sit down with, and keep the fire department involved with this, keep the officers, sit down with them too, and come up with that standard on our own.
But who are we? We're not doctors or anything like that. We don't know medicine to say, you gotta have this, this, and this, other than what the OSHA guidelines are.
They, you know, the funny thing
True.
is, when I went for my doctor, my physical, I asked my doctor at the time, and he got pretty wishy-washy about it. He goes, he didn't know what the state standard was for physicals. If there even was a state standard for physicals.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of unknowns, so I think, you know, going back to it, you know, just leaving it as it is for right now.
It's a good start.
It's a good start, absolutely a good start.
Yeah.
So,
I just wanted to make sure that we at least discussed it.
yeah. No, you know, kudos to the fire department and the officers of the fire department for, you know, getting that pushed through. Thanks, Jan, for, I know you did a lot of research on that. And
Yep.
working with Chad on that, get that going. All right, anybody have anything else? All right, let's see, next meetings we have is February 27th. That's our annual meeting with the townships for the contract renewal for fire relief protection. That's at the fire hall. And that'll be, again, February 27th at 7 p.m. And then our next council meeting will be on March 6th at 7 o'clock here at City Hall. And then just based off of discussion earlier about a workshop about some workshop on zoning fines for zoning, planning and zoning, workshop on that. I'm looking at my month for the rest of the month is kind of busy, so probably looking at mid-March before we have that one. So anybody got like that following Wednesday, the 13th? Does that work for people? All right, so we'll do March 13th, 2019, 7 p.m. Is that gonna work for you, Darren? You got anything going on that night? Okay. All right.
Is there anything we need to talk about the annual meeting with the fire department and townships? Anything that we need to bring to that meeting that we want to talk to everybody about?
We got contract renewal, so that'll be, no?
No,
that
we
was
did
done
that last year.
Oh, was it done last year?
It's
Oh,
for-
I'm sorry.
Till 21,
Is that good till 21? All right. Well,
I don't know what else what it would be, but
I know that at the relief meeting, the chief brought up
the
a
new tanker.
putting that, and I talked to him this morning and just asked him to, if he could get information on what he's talking about, real specifics. My preference is to not go to the meeting and say, let's get a tanker because we want one, because that's not the way to present. And so he was gonna get some information on maybe a specific one, or I understand Jim told me that Watkins has a good tanker that, you know, we might be able to get some information. And they've been talking about it for years, and I understand it's in need of replacement. It's an older,
I think that should be talked about at the annual meeting, just to let the townships know that they're thinking about, you know, not
Yeah.
saying, gotta have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
no, but
maybe
they'll
in a
need the
year or 2
township's
years.
approval, so.
Yeah.
And when we talked Monday night, and I said, yeah, you know, it's, put the feelers out again, see where the townships are at. Steve brought up the point that, you know, 2 or 3 years' time, that the building can be paid for.
And that's something that Cindy will be able
Yep.
to get those numbers.
Right.
I'm sure Chad's right, and I can
Yeah.
put that.
Yeah, so, and we're thinking timing wise, if we're gonna buy a brand new truck, that might be the better timing on it.
The big items, like on the Nana Township, the big items on the fire protection or fire hall and pumper one. And them dates, when I was on the board, were 2022 and 23, that those items came off. They were gonna be paid for. But I know in the meantime, in the last couple of years, there was something else we were paying on. That was paid off. And then that, we voted at that annual meeting to take that,
That payment.
That payment.
the principal,
Correct.
apply that to that, so within the next couple of years, both the hall and pumper one will be getting
Correct.
paid
That's
off.
right.
I just bring that to the fire department and say, just keep that in mind,
Mhm.
your townships, the city, and basically it's Manatee and Lake and the city that pay the bulk of the fire protection. That, those are the numbers we're looking at the budget with, so.
Yeah, Chad had asked me to bring with the two.
Work those numbers in with the time frame.
And we floated a number of different ideas around that night, but, you know, it was more just, I had said, you know, if you wanna bring it up, just bring it up as, hey, you know, we've been looking at this for the last couple of years. Right.
I think we need to bring it up.
It needs to be brought
Not
up.
as, it's been brought up for quite a few years.
Right.
Hey, we're thinking about it. Hey, in the next couple, hey, in 5 years. I think we need to bring it up as, this is maybe a serious, it might not be a truck you get till 2020.
But you can at least
But we
budget.
can start to at least anticipate
Yeah,
budgeting for it and.
Definitely want to walk into that meeting going, yeah, we want to buy a pumper in 2023, or we want to buy one in 2022, or whatever works out, you know, that way, yeah, and you're absolutely right, you know, the city can plan for it, Manana, Eden Lake, you know, we can all,
And the department, that's what I was,
Yeah.
we talked about during the meeting the other night, just, you know, the best way for a department to work together with the townships and the city.
I think walking into that meeting, explain it just that way, that
Yeah.
we need to, fire department wants a different tanker, but we wanna try to keep the payments the same, get past these few big loans like the fire hall and the pumper one, and then look at another truck, so not putting a big burden on anybody. And then, so just kind of go through it that way. And then another thing, pumper one is 10 years old,
No,
8,
6
6?
in March.
So 15 years from now, that more than likely want to be replaced. So we should try to,
The timing.
try to get a tanker in well before you're trying to buy a new fire truck.
The rescue
Kinda
too is probably,
Keep that load spread out.
that rescue van probably is 10 years, 15 years old already.
That's 10 already, for sure.
Yeah.
So in the next 10 years, we're gonna, you know, I'm sure Rescue's gonna be looking at wanting to upgrade that.
It's not-
It's an 04. That's an
04.
04.
Okay.
So 14 already,
15,
but turning 15,
depends when you bought it.
no.
So I think, I shouldn't say it, but I've been going to a lot of these annual meetings and, over the years, and Jim can,
We're well respected. by the
now we are. Quite a few years back, it was at a point where we gotta have this right now, a truck. You know, you walk into a meeting, never talked over last year, all of a sudden, right now, we gotta have a new truck. This one's junk. Well, you gotta stay away from that. You gotta be really upfront with people and try to keep your debt load down, and it's good now. It's really is good the way it's working now, so.
All right, anything else?
I think we
All right,
covered it all.
then I think we've got everything covered, so I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I said-
I'll make it, second it.
I'll make a motion then.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good night.